Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Neglected Naruto Removes Anko's Curse Seal Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. It was a little past afternoon in the village Konohagakure. It's a peaceful village because its shinobis were devoted to protect it from any source of danger, be it small or large. They would do anything or go any length to make sure that Konoha stays safe. They would do anything to make it more strong, even if they have to degrade themselves they wouldn't care because it will make sure that Konoha is strong and safe. Every citizen is happy but in these civilians there's a boy, who is not a bit peaceful and happy like other people's because his everyday life is living in hell. Everyday people of Konoha will beat him, torture him and sometimes the vicious attacks of the villagers drove him to death. But he never died from these attacks because he was the Jinchuriki of Nine-Tailed Fox or Kyuubi no Kitsune. Everyone minus latest generation knows this fact, that's why they called him different names as demon, demon brat, monster etc. And always kept a distance from him because they were afraid that the beast sealed in the boy will kill them and some of them actually believed that he was the Kyuubi incarnate. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto always wondered why they always call him different names and why they always stand away from him and why parents never let their children play with him. But whenever incident like happened he never retaliated. He was even unable to save himself. And that is because he was only 4 years old. The Biju always healed him completely without leaving any sign of beating sessions. He was alone in that god-forsaken hellhole called Konoha. But sometimes the Hokage, leader of the village, Sarutobi Hiruzen used to visit him and sometimes offered him some ramen treats. These were the only normal or happy moments for him. But Hokage couldn't stay with him all time and right now at the moment he was being chased by a mob of angry villagers. It was evening time, maybe 5 or 6 p.m. Naruto was running as fast as his little legs could help him. But still it was surprising for a little kid to run so fast and so long that his chasers was having problem in catching him. Naruto while being chased, was thinking only one thing, how to escape from the angry-looking villagers. But he couldn't help to wonder, what he did to make the villagers so mad at him that if stopped for a second, then the next moment his head would be missing from his body. So he turned his head slightly to his left and asked in a fearful voice, "Why are you doing this? I didn't do anything to you. Please let me go." He shut his eyes momentarily in hoping to clear his vision while running. One of the villager barked in anger, "You demon, you killed my brother." Another one yelled, "Demon, you killed my daughter." Some other also yelled their pains. Naruto heard their reasons, same reasons every time. He was beyond frustration. Naruto was pondering in his mind and forgot to take turn when the street finished and he ended in a dead end. "Where will you escape now, bastard? I am going to kill you now. Yeah, I can avenge my family now." Statements like these could be heard from the crowd of villagers. The one in front, who was leading or looking like the leader of the group came forward and moved to Naruto who was sticking to the wall behind him. The leader came face to face with Naruto and grabbed his jaw in his callous hands. He then threw him to the wall. Naruto cried in unbearable pain from the hit his body took against the wall. He started to get up but as he got up one villager kicked him hard on the face. Naruto couldn't take the force of the hit and again hit the wall. Blood started to leak from his head. One villager grasped his collar and lifted him in the air. And bring his face closer to Naruto's. After examining that this was not enough in comparing the pain he caused others, maybe killing him would be enough and he threw him again to the wall. Naruto, now was on the door of unconsciousness. He was lying on the concrete ground helpless, crying silent tears of pain and agony and bloody and bruised. He just wanted it to end. He wanted to be free from everyday's cycle of unbearable pain. The sun had already set behind the horizons. The bright orange hue dusted the sky. Was there no one who cared for him? Was there no one who could save him, tell him that everything will be alright? Yeah, Hokage Gigi, but where is he now when he needed him most? He was thinking along these lines when the leader of the assailant group moved towards the bloodied body of Naruto. The wind blew from nowhere towards Naruto and caressed Naruto's hair and face. He felt like someone hugged him. He felt a little ounce of warmth for a moment. And it gave him the comfort. He closed his eyes awaiting his death. But the same wind sent shivers down the villager's spine. So they didn't want to waste any more time. My fellow villagers, today, we are going to get rid of the demon who has haunted our lives. The group of villagers cheers in response. The leader took a 1-foot-long knife which was looking very sharp at the cutting edge. He kneeled down near the form of Naruto and lifted his hand which was holding the knife holding upwards and brought it down to Naruto's chest. But as it was about to pierce the boy's chest, the leader felt something hit him in the head very hard. The hit had so much force that it sent the leader flying towards the group of villagers. And hit some of them who were in the way and took them with him to the wall at the end of the alley and other side of the road. And fall unconsciousness. Everyone who was watching was flabbergasted. They couldn't comprehend what happened. It just took 2 or 3 seconds. After several minutes when they got their bearing they turned towards the newcomer. There stood a girl not more than 10 years old with violet hairs settled behind her head in a multiple-edged shuriken bun. She was wearing a sleeveless fishnet mesh shirt and dark shorts. And was wearing ninja sandals. She was holding Naruto in her arms like a bride. She wore a angry mixed with some sadisticness expression on her face. She yelled like an angry beast to them. What the hell are you idiots doing to a kid? Have you degraded so much low that you didn't think what you are doing? She continued. Have you no shame doing these things to a little child? Who the hell are you? Bitch. Don't interrupt us. Otherwise you too will die like him. All the lecture and positive words she was about to say, stayed in her throat, on the remark. Bitch. And smirked sadistically as much as she could as a 10-years-old brat. You know, I was about to let this incident slide from me but I think nobody taught to anything good and now I will have to do that. She didn't even put Naruto down and rushed towards the remaining members of the group. And before they could know what was happening, they were all lying in their own little pool of blood and pile of bodies. She, tched, and bring her attention towards the form in her hands. She took him to her apartment after some thinking and lay him on the mattress and tried to make him conscious again. Naruto on his part didn't know what was happening around him. He just lay there, in her arms, almost unconscious. So he just waited for his body to get better a little. After some minutes of arrival of newcomer, Naruto felt like his was being called by someone. He opened his eyes slightly and saw something violet. He squinted his eyes to see clearly. He saw a beautiful girl. Despite being only 4 years old he knew what a beautiful word was. He opened his eyes completely and saw her sitting near his feet. Oh, you are alive. I thought I saved you for nothing. She said to him in a teasing voice. What? I am not going to die so easily. I have to be Hokage before I die. He yelled to her. You were dead if I was late for a moment. She replied calmly. He was about to yell again when he realized she was right. And stayed silent. So care to tell me what was all that ruckus about? Why were they wanted to kill you? I don't think you would have done anything with that little body. She asked him. Naruto became sad because he himself didn't know. I don't know. He said simply. What? They were about to kill you and you don't know why? She responded. He remained silent. She felt a little irritated but was able to hide it. Suddenly their stomachs growled and broke the silence. Do you want to eat something? She asked. His stomach growled again in response. She sighed and went to prepare dinner. After half an hour both of them were sitting across each other eating. When they were finished she said. So, you should go to your home now, it's late. When he heard her, his face lost all its little shine it had. Oh, so, sorry. I will have to go now, I guess. Thank you for all you did for me. He said stuttering and laughed sheepishly. He did not want to go, he wanted to stay with her, and her place gave him warmth in the chilly night. And where would he from here? Orphanage owner has already kicked him out. And she was the second person who was nice to him and she also saved him from the villagers. He slowly turned and started to walk towards the door. As he turned his head away from her to go, she caught the sight of a tear slid down from the corner of his eye. Was he crying but why? She whispered to herself and pondered a little more on it then it all came crashing down to her. He was an orphan, like her. And her body moved automatically, her voice came out on its own. Hey, she said in a slight louder tone. Naruto's hand was on the doorknob when he heard her. He stayed like that for a moment to compose him and turned towards her. Yeah? He asked in a hoarse voice. I forgot to ask your name. So what is it? She asked, a little embarrassed on herself that she didn't ask him sooner. Naruto Uzumaki. He answered. So Naruto, if you would like, you can stay the night. You can sleep on the couch. She said. Naruto, hearing her, teared up in joy and hugged her torso tightly and whispered thank you again and again. Anko felt a little embarrassed from hug because it's her first time any boy hugged her, even if he was a little boy. The moment continued for almost a minute. Then Anko tried to break the hug, but when she did, he was already asleep leaning against her. She sighed. She sat down where she was standing and brought her hands to his blonde hair and caressed them, her fingers caressing the scalp of his head laying in her lap. He purred in the comfort he got from her. Anko was a little surprised by herself. She never did something like this, bringing some stranger to her apartment and offering food and spending the night. She didn't know herself. She just felt like she must do it. He needed her in that moment and only she could provide him that comfort. She stared at his face. On his whisker marks, he looked like a mystery. She felt like she knew him for a long time, but she just met him a few hours ago. Maybe it was the pain and loneliness in his eyes that felt familiar to her, like her own. She glanced at his face again and continued her thinking. She was receiving some kind of warmth from him like he was from her, and when she realized that her face dusted a hue of pink. What the hell? He is just a kid. What am I thinking? But she felt happy, the kind of emotion she didn't felt for how long she didn't know herself. She liked the feeling of happiness and warmth he was radiating. She could get addicted to this, and so she accepted it with open arms. And closed her eyes and lost in new dreams which she would see first time. The morning came. Everybody in Konoha were starting to go their businesses. But apartment which was on the edge of Konoha's residential area were two people sleeping on the couch. Their limbs were entangled. They were sleeping like it was their first time they got any sleep. It was a little cold in the morning, but they were sleeping without a blanket, but they were looking like much comfortable. A smile was adorned on their faces. The warmth they were radiating was enough for them to stay warm in the cold. As the time passed, the female opened her eyes slowly. She felt refreshed like never before. As she turned her head, she the blonde hair. Then she remembered all that happened last night. She was a little embarrassed on their situation. She was laying on her back. Naruto was laying to her side, his right hand hugging her torso and left hand was under his head, face towards her. His right leg on Anko's right leg and her left leg was on his right leg. His head slightly leaning against her right shoulder. And her right hand, under his head, and left hand on his right, which was on her torso. Her face became red like tomato when she observed her predicament. She tried to regain her composure. After a moment, when she calmed down, she untangled their limbs and lay beside him. Their bodies touching so that the warmth couldn't lose. She stared at him and smiled. Why am I feeling so happy and giddy? It's like this boy is emitting the happiness itself. I never felt like this before. Well, but we can't stay like this forever. We have to get up. Naruto. Naruto, wake up, it's time to come to living world. She tried to woke him up. Naruto was so comfortable that he forgot where he was. Where am I? I remember being kicked out from orphanage and, he thought and remembered. His eyes flew open and saw a pair of light blue pupil-less eyes staring at him. So, how was your sleep? She asked. He panicked when he saw his body touching hers. I am sorry. I didn't mean to touch you, he said, a little fearful, and started to move away from her. She seemed a little confused on his apology and panic state. When she felt him move away, she tightened her hold on him and said in a soft voice she didn't know she has. Naruto, don't need to feel afraid. I am not going to hit you. She tightened her hold more and Naruto nodded. Naruto, I will ask you some questions and you will give me answers honestly, okay? She asked him. He nodded. You have been kicked out from orphanage and you don't have anywhere to go, right? She questioned him. Yes, he said. And would you like to stay with me if I ask you to? She questioned again. Yes, he said again. We will have to bring your belongings here from orphanage, she said. She will not let me enter. Then we will have to do something about it, she said. I can ask Hokage Gigi. Are you sure? She said. Yeah, he said with confidence. Okay then, let's have something to eat and go to Hokage-sama. But you will convince him, she said, pointing a finger at him. After having breakfast, they went to Hokage. When they were walking, most of the villagers' eyes on them. Anko, seeing Naruto's uneasiness, tried to sway his mind. You didn't tell me, how was your sleep? Oh, it was the best sleep I ever had, he told her. And why? She asked him. I don't know. Maybe because I was with you and maybe because I felt. He stopped moving and hung his head down. You felt safe. Anko finished his line. She knelt down to his eye level and put her hands on both of his cheeks and caressed his whiskers with her thumbs. Naruto, from now on you don't need to fear anyone. I will protect you until I can. Understood? She said to him. He nodded, and when he lifted his head the tears were flowing freely. It was first time he was crying in happiness. He hugged her tightly and wrapped his small arms around her neck. She too wrapped her arms around his small figure and hugged him to her body tightly. She lifted his figure to her bosom and put her right hand under his butt and carried him to Hokage Tower. When they met Hokage, they told them everything that happened. And what both of them wanted. Sarutobi, when listened them, he sighed in frustration. He was annoyed with villagers and Naruto's situation, concerning them. So he, without any second, gave his permission. Maybe it will keep villagers away from him a little. And he will be able to taste the peace a little more. Now they were sitting across each other. Hokage had said to them that he will send someone to bring his belongings. They talked about rules for living management. Naruto will help her in daily routine work so she can go to academy worry less. Everything was okay except sleeping arrangement. And after a little argument with herself, she came to a decision. Naruto, you will sleep with me on my bed, understood? She asked hastily to avoid embarrassment and wait for his answer. She was surprised with her own words. Naruto, wide-eyed, just shook his head. When everything was arranged, they started to talk and hours passed. Now it was their everyday routine. Talking. After Anko came home from academy. She used to tell him how her day passed and he told her how his day passed. They played ninja together every day. Anko told him some things about ninjas. They cooked together and in the end they slept together. These days were like heavens for them. They were so happy that Anko's behavior changed from violent to calm and cool in the academy. And now Anko knew why villagers said those names to him and tried to kill him. Hokage had told her about Kyuubi because it was a most important truth about Naruto, and it was necessary for her to know about Kyuubi because she was his guardian. And when she knew about Kyuubi, she accepted it because she was an open-minded girl, her thinking was different. It was all good until one day Anko invited her friend Kurenai to her apartment. While they were talking in the living room, Naruto was sleeping in their bedroom room. So Anko, where do you go on Saturday and Sunday? You don't come to hang out and not even for practice. Did I not tell you that I stay at home on my weekends? Kurenai sighed. She knew that she stayed at home, but why? Anko, I know that, but why do you stay at home? I don't think you have much housework to do. Oh well, I think I forgot to tell you, I spend the weekends with Naruto. He lives with me. He is very nice person if you get to know him. Wah. What, he lives with you, but you never told me that you are in living with your boyfriend. Kurenai stuttered. Wah. What are you talking about? Are you an idiot? He is not my boyfriend. We just live together. And he is a kid, much younger than me. Think before you open your large mouth, Kurenai, Anko said. Now in no way she was going to tell her that they were sleeping together. Sorry. So where is this Naruto? I haven't seen him whole time I am here, Kurenai asked. Let me get him for you. Wait here. Anko went to the room and after a little struggle was successful in waking up Naruto. Anko-chan, why did you wake me? I was having so good dream about us both. He said sleepily and tried to go to sleep again. Anko blushed when she heard him. It was like daily normal things for them, teasing each other. But it wasn't time for that. She held the sheet and yanked it away from his hold. Naruto, my friend Kurenai is here and she want to meet you. But I don't like to meet people, you know that. I know, that's why I am asking you to meet her. She is a very nice person. You will not be disappointed, I swear. After a little more persuading him, he admitted his defeat and went outside with Anko. Kurenai was waiting for them to come out. When she heard sound of their feet, she turned her head towards them and said, "Hey Ankh." Her voice stuck in her throat when she saw him, the demon brat. Was her friend living with the demon? Has she gone crazy? No, she will have to save her friend. She will kill the demon and free her friend and everyone from its curse. Thinking along these lines, she ran towards him and punched him hard in the gut. "You demon, I will kill you and free Anko and everyone from your fear and curse," she raged. Anko couldn't comprehend the situation faster and was unable to act fast. Naruto went flying and hit the wall behind and make a large dent on it. He coughed up some blood and fell down and clutched his stomach in pain. Kurenai ran to the lying form of Naruto and tried to stomp on his head, but suddenly she felt herself flown away from Naruto. This time Anko made it in time. "What the hell are you doing, Kurenai? Why the hell would you hit him?" Anko said furiously. "Anko, you are living with the demon. I didn't know you are so idiot to live with the demon," retorted Kurenai. Anko, listening her best friend's words about Naruto, just couldn't stop herself from saying the upcoming words. "I don't care what people think about him, and now I don't care what you think about him. And if you have even a little common sense, then you should have known that Kyuubi is sealed in him. He is not the Kyuubi, damn it. And if you can't understand these things, then I can't do anything for you. And if you can't respect the peoples I love, then you don't have any right to call yourself my best friend. He is the most important person to me now. You with all the villagers can go to hell," Anko roared and turned towards Naruto's fallen form. Kurenai stood still and contemplated the words Anko just said. Kurenai couldn't comprehend that her best friend will go so far for the demon brat that she could break her friendship with her. She understood what Anko said about the boy, but to go that far. "Anko IMS," Kurenai tried to say, but Anko cut her. "Kurenai, I can't forgive you for what you did to Naruto. And if you want to be my friend, then you will have to accept Naruto, but if you want to stay as ignorant brat as you are, then forget about our friendship. You can go now." Anko finished her conversation. Kurenai just stood there blankly. Her best friend just broke their friendship, and for who? That demon of a child. She will deal with Anko later. And quietly left the apartment. Naruto was groaning in pain. His hands were clutching his stomach. "Naruto, are you okay?" "It's alright, don't worry, let me see it," Anko said worriedly, and remove his hands away from his stomach and pull the white t-shirt upward to examine the spot. The spot where he has been hit was sore and blackish blue. Just looking on it made Anko's eyes water. She picked him up and lay him on the bed. She knew a little healing due to her extra classes on healing in academy. It was not an academy course, but she found it interesting and beneficial, so she asked for it and took extra classes. "Naruto, it's going to hurt a little. I am going to heal it." "Okay," Anko said, wiping her tears that were threatening to fall. Naruto nodded his head, face staining with tears of unbearable pain. Anko brought her hands above the affected area and her hands glowed green. After several minutes she finished it with wiping the sweat from her forehead. Naruto felt better now. His eyes started to close in exhaustion. He lifted his head from pillow and put it in Anko's lap, and while lying down wrapped his arms around her waist. Anko sighed in relief and put one hand on his head and other ran through his golden locks. A sad expression on her face. "Naruto, I am so sorry." She choked on her sob. Naruto buried his head in her torso more tightly and thought for a minute and then said, "Anko-chan, don't worry about anything. I am not angry with you even a bit. I am quite happy to see that you care so much for me that you would fight to your best friend for me, in spite of knowing her longer than me." Anko cut him off. "But it was me who forced you to meet her even when you don't wanted to," Anko cried. She removed her hands from his head and placed them on her face to hide it and cry. Naruto, hearing her, broke the embrace he was in and sat down on his knees facing her. He watched her for several seconds. Then he lifted his small hands to remove her hands from her face. Her head was down. He put her right hand under her chin and lifted her head. When he saw her face, he forgot all his own pain. He didn't want her to look like this. She should be her usual self, like cheery, calm, cool and strong, and when needed complete opposite of her usual self. He didn't like that look on her face. So he cupped her face in his little hands and using one hand wiped her tears and said, "Anko-chan, I don't like it when you cry, he said and pouted when she chuckled. Anko smiled with affection and Naruto grinned his toothy grin in response. Anko spread her arms outward and motioned for a hug. He wrapped his little arms around her neck and buried his face in her neck. Anko sighed in contentment. Just a hug from Naruto lightened her mood up. She rubbed his back and he purred. Naruto then said something that she didn't expect from him. Anko-chan, when I will get big, I will become a strongest ninja in the world and become Hokage. Then everyone will recognize me. And you know how much I love you, you are the most precious person to me. I will do anything for you. And when I will become a ninja, I will protect you and love you so much, he said while motioning his hands behind her back while in the embrace. Anko just melted from his words. Despite being older, she liked his pampering to her. And even if he was a little child, she liked his boasting. Did he even know what he is saying? But still she liked every word of it. She felt Naruto saying something again. Anko-chan, can you promise me something? He said a little nervously. Anko caught his nervousness and said before he got more nervous. Yeah, what is it? You can say anything to me. So what is it? Anko said. You are the only one in my life I love, and if you left me, then Naruto couldn't continue. Anko understood immediately what was he talking about. So without having second thoughts she said to him before he could have second thoughts. Naruto, I love you as much as you love me, and I think I love you more than you love me, she said in a teasing voice. Naruto murmured something like, not fair, in response. And you are a very precious person to me too. So you don't need to worry about me leaving you. I promise I will not leave you ever. She said, erasing all his worries. He whispered his thank you and fall asleep in her arms. When she felt his lights out, she lay him down on the bed with her, hugging him to her chest. She too fall asleep. Now 1 year passed since that incident with Kurenai. That incident changed their life completely because it brought them closer than they were before. They both became more close to each other. They now shared a strong bond of love, trust, protectiveness, somewhat possessiveness and devotion to each other. Well, Naruto being a child was oblivious to these kinds of things that he had for her. But Anko knew about all that, but she ignored its meanings and effects because she was not lonely now. She has someone to greet her in morning and to welcome home when she returned from academy. She has someone to take care, and it was a good feeling to be cared by someone. So in her happiness she didn't think much about it. Anko was now 12 years old and in her third and last year's completion of academy. Her appearance somewhat same with little noticeable changes. Her height increased to 4 feet 9 inches. Her body fitting her height with toned stomach showing faint six-pack muscle linings, C-cup, more beautiful defined face and legs. She was a total beautiful girl, every teenage boy's dream girl. She wore a top which came to her thighs same size as her mesh suit, just without net. And a blue skirt with knee-length boots. She has an aura of power, self-confidence, calm and cool, wearing a sadistic grin, and a carefree attitude. Some boys tried to hit on her, but after first word they found themselves at the edge of the village in a heap of blood and stuck in wall. So they kept their distance with her. And Naruto was still used to stay at home or their apartment. He was 6-year-old now. He was also changed from his previous appearance when he first met Anko. He was now 3 feet 5 inches of height. He was now a healthy boy because Anko specifically kept Naruto's health in check. He looked cute and handsome according to Anko's teasing. Naruto always blushed and pouted whenever she called him that. Now he did most of housework because Anko was busy with academy and training. She started to train more when Naruto started to live with her. Because both of their safety was now dependent on Anko. She placed some traps in her apartment so that while she would be out no one could harm Naruto. Naruto started to go out with Anko on walking in park and training ground where Anko trained and Naruto watched. Naruto also started to work out with Anko's instructions and for future references. Anko just trained him physically cause he wasn't ready for chakra training. So he was now strong enough among the children of his age. But his wish to make friends just blocked his strength show to others. He always got beaten down intentionally in hope to make a friend but failed every time, which in result made him sadder. But after reaching home and a hug from Anko always lightened his mood. But the villagers' attitude didn't change towards him. But Anko by his side, he didn't care. So their life was going on like that. 2 years have passed. It was the time of Anko's graduation test. Anko woke up with Naruto in her arms. It was every day's routine for them to sleep in each other's arms. It was not in any way perverseness from their part. It was just because they felt comfortable and safety in each other's arms. Both left the bed, and after their daily routine they had their breakfast. Anko left for the academy, but when she reached the door she turned towards Naruto and said, "Naruto, I have my graduation exam for Genin today. And it's obvious that I will pass, so we will go out today for celebration," she said cheerfully. Naruto, when heard her, jumped on his seat and yelled happily, but suddenly he stopped and said, "How are you so sure that you will pass?" he said a little doubtfully. Anko smirked sadistically, which always sent shivers to his body. "Do you have any doubt in my skills and power?" Huh? She brought her face closer to Naruto's, who was sweating bullets now. When she saw his face expressions, her smirk widened. Sorry, I never had any doubt in your ability, Anko-chan, he said fearfully. Anko's face softened. She embraced him for a second to put him on ease. Naruto relaxed in the hug. She broke the hug and smiled to him. He smiled in return, already forgetting the moment before. "Be ready. When I will return, we will have a blast." "Okay," she said softly and cheerfully. Naruto nodded, and then Anko left. Naruto and Anko were lying in living room on the couch. Anko was lying on her back and Naruto on top of her. His hands around her waist and head on her. Anko's one hand on his back and other in his hair, running through them. Whole living room was filled with bowls of ramen and boxes of dangos and bottle of soft drinks. They had one hell of a time. She invited some of her friends like Iruka, Yugao, Kurenai. Kurenai settled her friendship, but it wasn't like before. They laughed, danced, ate. Was one hell of a night for all of them. "Hey brat, did you enjoy the party?" Anko asked to Naruto while caressing his blonde locks. "Yeah, it was the best," he purred in her chest. She felt vibrations in her chest from Naruto's voice. A foreign feeling arose in her stomach. She felt a little hot. But she ignored it after a moment. Naruto then lifted his head and now rested his chin on her chest and stared in her eyes. Anko felt a little uncomfortable by the look in his eyes, and then he asked something he had asked 1 year ago but in a different way, and that sent shivers to her spine. "Anko-chan, I know you have promised to me this once before, but can you say this again, that you won't leave me in any condition?" "I am feeling a little uneasy," Naruto said with teary eyes and continued again. "I am feeling like something will happen to you, to us. This happiness, it feels like unreal to me, like I am in a dream and I will wake up and everything will vanish. Please Anko-chan, can you say again that you won't leave me even if someone tries to separate us?" Tears were now flowing fully. Anko just stared wide eyes. Why was he feeling like that? No, I will have to calm him. Anko sat down and placed Naruto on her lap, each other's arms around each other. She replied immediately. "Naruto, I won't leave you even if Kami himself asks me to leave you. You are like a part of me now which I can never let go," Anko said, reassuring him. They sat like that for several minutes and then Naruto asked something she will never forget. "Hey Anko-chan, will you marry me?" he said in a low voice, almost shyly. Anko heard him clearly and widened her eyes. To marry to Naruto? He is just a kid, why the hell would he ask such a question? So she asked him, "Naruto, why did you ask such a question?" she asked, a little unsure of herself. "I heard it on the TV. They said if you are married, you are bound to each other for lives," Anko chuckled after hearing Naruto. Those idiots, showing these kinds of things on TV, she thought. Anko sighed. He is still not satisfied from her previous statement. So Anko said what was needed to say. "Naruto, marriage is not something so easy. It needs many things and you will not understand them, but if it will calm your worries down of me leaving you, then, okay, yes, I will marry you." Now happy, Anko said, a little uneasy now herself. Marriage is a very important and broad subject to handle. But when she saw Naruto's face-splitting smile, all her worries and uneasiness vanished. Yes, she will do anything for him, to make him happy. Naruto just hugged her neck and fall asleep now without the worry of his Anko leaving him. They both fall asleep on the couch entangled. So their life was best. They were on the peak of their happiness. They wanted these days to go on like that. After graduation, Anko was apprenticed to Orochimaru, a Sannin. Anko was beyond happy on the fact that Orochimaru took her as his apprentice. It was an honor for her. The honor everyone wanted and was jealous. She trained hard every day under Orochimaru. He taught her many new jutsus and fighting styles. He also gave her a snake summoning contract. Orochimaru knew she was good for his purposes. So he taught her as much as he could till the Chunin exams. Anko was now almost 14 years old, just 3 more months and she will be 14. She had become more beautiful now with larger than C cup. With long and sexy legs, toned and 6-packs more defined lining stomach. The thing that stayed the same was her hairstyle and clothing. She was now 5 feet 5 inches with best curvaceous body in Konoha. Every guy just wanted to bed her and she was so disgusted from this, that once she almost killed a guy who tried to force himself on her. She was admitted in Chunin exams by Orochimaru after 2 years of service as genin. Naruto was now 8 years old and 4 feet 2 inches, his head reaching Anko's upper torso. He was about to be admitted to the academy. So both Anko and Naruto was beyond happy. Now the day of Chunin exams results came and Anko along with her friends was chosen as a Chunin. Anko was ecstatic on being a Chunin. She came to Orochimaru who was outside of Hokage office and hugged him tightly. She admired him so much that it came too close to love him. But you can say she loved him. She was smiling broadly showing her white teeth. Sensei, I am a Chunin now. Can you believe it? She yelled in happiness. It was being hard to control her happiness. She gave a hug to each one of her friends. She couldn't wait to tell Naruto. She wanted to tell him immediately and as she moved towards the door. Orochimaru stopped her. Anko-chan, congratulations on promotion to Chunin but you know we don't have time for cheering it, Orochimaru said destroying her plans. Why sensei? Anko asked a little uncomfortable. She had said to Naruto that they will have a great party if she got promotion. She wanted to celebrate it with him. You remember when I said that we will go on a training trip if you got promotion, Orochimaru said in his cheesy voice. And before she could say anything, Orochimaru continued. It's time to go. So I want you to meet me at Konoha gates in an hour sharp with your supplies, Orochimaru said and before she could say anything he shunshined. It's been 30 minutes already she started her search for Naruto. But she couldn't find him. She had gone to her apartment to pack the bag of supplies. It took only 10 minutes to pack. And Naruto wasn't at home so she started to search for him. Where the hell he was. She didn't want to go without telling and see him. No, it was not possible for her to leave without seeing him. It would kill him. The only thing he was much afraid of was her leaving him and she was going to do that despicable sin now because she couldn't cancel the trip because of it's a rare and golden opportunity for her. She was now crying. What would he think about her if she went without seeing him? What would he do? Would he hate her for doing the only thing he didn't wanted her to do? And just thinking about it made her stomach's insides wrenched. No, she will not go without seeing him but when she realized again that his whereabouts were unknown, again her heart started to ache from the pain which will never go away until she will see him now or when she will return from her trip. Then suddenly she caught sight of Genma, who was a Chunin like her. She thanked the whoever God sent him. She shunshined to him and called him. Oi Genma. He stopped and turned towards her. When he saw who it was, his face lit up. Genma was her classmate in academy. He had many times flirted with her and sometime asked her out on a date but she always refused him and threatened that if he wanted his balls to remain attached to his body then never ask her out again. Genma always disheartened from her refusal and when he asked her that is there someone else she likes, she just said no or she is not interested in these kind of things so that he wouldn't annoy her more. But he just asked again and again. And once he found himself in hospital room laying on a bed. Later when he inquired about her he came to know one named Naruto and she loved him with all her being. But what kind of love he couldn't find because she acted like father, mother, guardian, friend, even sometimes they behaved like lovers. He just became confused but one thing was sure, Anko refused his proposals because of Naruto. There were others too, who proposed her, like Iruka, he only proposed her once and after her outright denial he didn't ask her out. And there was Kakashi, who also asked her out, but she was a little confused if he was serious or just playing, but he got the same fate. Genma came out of his thoughts and asked Anko. Anko, what are you doing here? Weren't you going with Orochimaru-sama on a training trip? Not like I am complaining you being here. But what is it? He asked her normally. Genma, Orochimaru-sama is waiting for me at Noha Gates and I am going there, but can you do me a favor? She said, desperation clear on her face and voice. Yeah, what is it? Anything for you, he said, hoping to have a little chat with her. Have you seen Naruto? I am searching for him for almost 50 minutes but couldn't find him. Have you seen him anywhere? She asked in one breath, not wanting to waste any more seconds. Genma felt a wave of rage bubble up in him when he heard Naruto's name, but he controlled it and said, Whoa, calm down Anko, and I haven't seen Naruto anywhere. Damn it all, Anko yelled desperately and helplessly. Again her eyes started to sting from tears. Genma saw her helpless state and said in a monotone, because he was furious inside that demon could make her act like that. Anko, calm down. If you have any message for him you can give it to me. I will transfer your words to him, he said uninterestedly. A bulb light up in Anko's head. Yeah, that would work, she thought and said. Okay, if you see Naruto then tell him about the trip and I searched for him but couldn't find him. And tell him to take care of himself and be a good boy. And tell him that I love him, and she listed him many things to tell Naruto. Genma just listened to her with close eyes. With her increasing number of things in the list, his rage was increasing, but he didn't show it on his face. Okay, he said stoically. Thank you very much, Genma. You are true friend. I will treat you dinner when I return, she said, and with a short hug went towards Konoha Gates. Genma just stood there, head downward, eyes closed, fists clenched and veins bulging on his forehead. He punched the nearby cemented wall, making a hole in it. Hell with your dinner, he shouted in rage. Anko reached to the gates and met Orochimaru. Anko, you are late 2 minutes and we haven't even leave Konoha yet. If you don't change your irresponsible behavior, it won't be any good for you. And this is my first and last warning. Understood? He said with annoyance in his voice. Anko just hanged her head downward and said in a low voice. Hi, sensei, and they made their way in the lush green forest. Naruto had been called by Hokage to his office and he reached there just a minute after Anko left. Hokage has called him for a prank he did to a civilian and he filed a complaint to Hokage. Hokage lectured Naruto about social behavior and not to prank again. Naruto promised that it will not happen again. And after 1 long hour Hokage dismissed him. He came out from Hokage building and made his directly to his and Anko's shared apartment. Naruto was very much happy that Anko would have become a chunin and they will go out to dinner. Naruto ran to the apartment and when he entered hurriedly in the apartment he found it empty. No Anko. Not a trace of Anko in the apartment. Naruto went to the bedroom and took a look. He saw clothes were littering all over the bed. His heart started to sink from thinking of what he didn't want to think. He made a dash out of there, home, and rushed towards Hokage Tower and entered the office. Gigi, where did Anko go? Did you send him somewhere? He asked him desperately in hope that his earlier thoughts must be wrong. Hiruzen looked at Naruto and said, Naruto, what are you doing here? You should go home, he said, pretending that he didn't listen his question. Where did you send Anko? Naruto yelled. He couldn't control himself anymore. Hiruzen sighed and stood up from his seat and moved to Naruto and bent on his knee and stared in his eyes. And said, Naruto, Anko has gone for a very important and dangerous mission. She got promoted to Chunin this morning. And it's her first mission as a Chunin, he said in hope to make Naruto calm, and it worked. How long will it take? Naruto asked out of curiosity. Hiruzen sighed again, and said, I don't know. It can take 1 month to 1 year or more. I would suggest you to go home and rest. Naruto just froze when he heard the mission duration. No. How can Anko go for such a long time? She never went before for so long for missions. And she didn't even tell me about it, Naruto thought. He was already out of the office. He didn't listen what Hokage said after that. He went straight for the was hungry. He just ate instant ramen. And lay down on the bed thinking about how she can go without telling him. Naruto fall asleep thinking about Anko. Naruto woke up early than his daily waking time. And after daily morning routine went out, he went to all of Anko's friends like Kurenai, Iruka, Kakashi, Yugao. He didn't know Genma, so he didn't go to him. Every one of them didn't even acknowledge his presence and shushed him away. Yugao was the only one who talked to him a little. She even assured him that she will be back soon. Naruto felt very much disheartened from all the responses. But he was sure she will be back. But when Naruto went home and threw himself on the couch, he stared at the ceiling. He didn't like the silence of the empty apartment. He was not feeling warm in this place now. And the most crucial thing was for him that he was not feeling safe anymore. He closed his eyes and tears fall down to his face's sides from the pressure of his eyelids closing. Soon cries could be heard from the apartment in the cold dark of night. Naruto found himself in a closed alley. A mob of villagers facing him. It was the same scene as when he first met Anko. After Anko left, he was kicked out of the apartment because he was unable to pay the rent. He kept his belongings as compensation, and said he will return them back when he will pay him. It's been 3 months for Naruto being kicked out of the apartment, and in these 3 months he has seen the heights of hell he has never felt before. He had been beaten down every day, every inch out of his life. Peoples beat him every day till he stopped moving. He lost a good amount of blood every day from the beatings. His condition was now like a tortured prisoner in hell. His clothes were all tattered and torn, and whatever shred left on his body was dirty and bloodied. He was now a skinny boy. Bones could be seen clearly. His eyes were a little swollen. It merely took 3 months for Naruto's life to become much worse than hell. The Lord of Hell would shiver from Naruto's condition. It was only thanks to Kyuubi that he was alive. So it was a usual day for Naruto when a mob chased him and cornered him. Which leads to the current moment. The mob surrounded him and started to attack him. Naruto just closed his eyes and braced himself. Because he knew what was going to happen. He stopped to resist a long time ago. Because it was futile. He couldn't do anything against this crowd. He saw some ninjas on sometimes, but they didn't help him at all, they just watched the show. After beating him to their heart's content, they left his unconscious form lying in his own pool of blood. He just wanted to die already, to end this cycle of pain and agony. He couldn't do anything, just cry tears of blood. He was sure that he will die this time. He felt a slight flow of wind caressing his face and blonde locks, which was red from the blood. It felt like someone's embrace, the same as when he first met Anko. He wanted to see Anko last time. And he just let himself succumb to darkness in that unknown embrace. Naruto opened his eyes only to see hospital's white ceiling. He slowly turned his head to his left and saw Hokage sitting there. Hiruzen saw Naruto waking up. "How are you feeling, Naruto?" he asked. Naruto didn't say anything, just lowered his head and closed his eyes. Hiruzen sighed. He remembered the day when he heard about the incident from Yugao, who saw him lying there in his own pool of blood and brought him to the hospital. Hiruzen just hoped that Naruto won't hold a grudge against the villagers. He just hoped that Naruto will forgive them. But he didn't know that the seed for Konoha destruction was already sowed. "Naruto, it's been 1 month, you were unconscious," he said, hoping to get answer, but he only received silence. After some minutes Naruto spoke. "Who brought me here in the hospital?" "Yugao," Hiruzen said simply. "She brought you here and admitted to the hospital," he said, looking out the window. Hiruzen again received silence. He sighed heavily. "I am sorry, Minato, Kushina. I failed you," he thought to himself. Naruto started to get off the bed and searched for his clothes. Hiruzen knew it's useless to say anything to him at the moment, so he just pointed to where his clothes were. Naruto dressed up and started to leave, but Hiruzen stopped him. "Naruto, come with me to Hokage office. I want to talk a little with you." Naruto didn't say anything, just followed behind him. When they reached, they talked a little. Well, Hiruzen talked and Naruto just nodded or remained silent. After Hiruzen realized it's all useless and he was wasting his time, he came to the point. He took out a key and an envelope and handed them over to Naruto. Naruto stared at the items confusedly and said, "What are these for?" "This is your apartment key, and inside the envelope is your monthly expense. And I have given your name in Academy for Shinobi Studies. And I want you to work hard. You have to attend Academy from next week," Hiruzen said, in hopes to get a response more than a nod. Naruto grabbed the items and stood up. He thanked the Hokage and after asking the directions for the new apartment he left the Hokage office. Naruto entered his new home or apartment. It was a single large room with large bed, a living room and kitchen and bathroom with necessary items. And surprisingly there was furniture in the apartment so he didn't need to buy anything. Naruto checked the whole apartment. It was livable. It was better than living on streets. He checked the kitchen. There was enough food for a week. Naruto flopped down on the couch and after a little while he fall asleep. 1 week passed without any grave incident because he didn't left the apartment that whole week. But after a week passed, he would have to leave the apartment for academy and then everybody will know and then again they will start to beat him. After 1 week Naruto started to go to academy but it was same as in the village. He was unable to make any friends. He got same treatment from his classmates as he got from villagers. So he mostly stayed at home. But the situation didn't improve much. He was now surviving on the trash bins. Because even after having money no one sold him anything. And 3 more months passed like this. Naruto spent every night crying to sleep and hoping that Anko would return tomorrow. At the moment Naruto was searching for food in the trash bin in a little dark alley in evening. He was so engrossed in his search that he didn't acknowledge someone standing behind him. The person behind him called to him but after getting no response the person tapped him on his shoulder and tried to get his attention. "Hey," she said. Naruto froze when the person touched him but before he could say or do anything the person inquired, "What are you doing out so late in the dark?" He realized the person was a girl from the tone of voice. Naruto slowly turned his head towards the person and saw a girl. She was a girl not more than 12 years old. She has waist-length black hair, black eyes and a slim figure. She was a beautiful girl. Naruto became scared and said in a fearful voice, "Please don't hit me, don't hit me, I didn't do anything, I was only searching for food." She frowned at his answer. She lowered her body and positioned her body to his eye level. "Hey, I am not going to hit you. You didn't do anything wrong," she said with a soft voice. But didn't get any response. Then she asked him, "Are you hungry?" He lifted his head to see her to confirm what he heard and when it was confirmed he nodded in yes. He was looking directly in her eyes. And when she looked in his eyes, she was stunned for a minute. His eyes were reflecting so much pain, sorrow and agony. Then it clicked to her when she looked carefully his face. He was the demon boy everyone always talked about. She registered his features. He was very thin and bones could be seen on his body. Wearing a ragged and dirty orange jumpsuit. And has some blood on his clothes. He looked 8 years old and 4 feet 3 inches foot of height. And has 3 whisker marks on each cheek. She regained her composure after some moments. And asked him in a very sweet and soft voice, "How long haven't you eat anything?" Naruto hearing her eased a little. I haven't eaten for 2 days. I had some ramen in Ichiraku's as my last meal but because that is the only shop from which I don't get thrown out. But they are closed since 2 days. I don't know why. Other shoppers don't sell me anything. They only sell me something only when I am with Gigi. But it was only once and after that he didn't come again, he told her sadly. "Gigi?" she asked confusedly. "I mean Hokage," he said. "And why didn't he come to check on you again?" she asked. "He said he is the leader of the village and it's very hard or mostly impossible for him to spare time for me," he said in a sad voice. The girl sighed. The Hokage was right. He is the leader and it would have been very hard but he could have sent someone else to check on him. She put her grocery bag down and took out a carrot and gave it to him. "Here you go little boy," she said. He saw the item in her hand and stared in her eyes for any alternate motives. She rolled her eyes towards the carrot for him to take and eat. He took the carrot and checked it for any poison. When he felt it was okay he ate it. When he finished the carrot she said, "I forgot to ask your name." "My name is Kasumi. What is yours?" she asked him. "Naruto Uzumaki. Next Hokage," he said in a loud and cheerful voice forgetting his earlier fears. She thought that at least she should give him some food and it won't be much heavy on her pocket and after a minute asked, "So Naruto, would you like to have dinner with me?" she asked. As Naruto heard her, he froze again. Giving him to eat something was one thing but inviting him to her home for dinner. It was first time someone treated him good and asked that to him after Anko left. Naruto felt his eyes sting with tears. He nodded his head fast and hoping that this person would treat him good. Okay, then come with me, she said, and Naruto followed her. After walking about 15 minutes, she came to a clearing at the edge of the village. It was just a small house which was already worn down. They entered in her home. She put the grocery aside and took out some vegetables to cook. While preparing dinner, she told Naruto to go and clean himself. After about half an hour, they were having the dinner. And it finished soon. It was delicious, but not as much as ramen or dango, but delicious. Thank you, miss, for the food. But why are you treating me so good? Going to the length of offering me food. Why? He asked, curious now. She smiled and said, Naruto, every person in this world is not same. Everyone is different in their own way. So you can say I am different from them. Naruto stared at her for several seconds and then blushed in embarrassment. I didn't understand what you just said. She chuckled at him and said, I mean, I don't judge people without knowing them. She saw a look of confusion on his face and sighed and thought of an easy way to explain. Okay, it's like this. I don't think about you as other villagers. I don't think you are a demon. I mean, you don't look like a demon, she said and pretended like checking him for any sign of being demon. When she didn't find anything weird, she smiled. Naruto shrank a little under her gaze, but when saw her smiling, he relaxed. She ruffled his hair and said, You are a kind and cute little boy. Don't let villagers fool you, okay? They are a bunch of idiots who can't see what you are: a little, cute, dainty, adorable, beautiful, charming, delightful, pleasant, pretty, she continued, and with every word Naruto's facial color became redder than tomato. Kasumi, seeing the effect of her teasing, couldn't hold and broke out in a fit of laughter. After a while, both calmed down from laughter and embarrassment. Naruto then said, Hey Ms. She cut him off mid-sentence. It's not Miss. It's Kasumi, she said with a smile. Naruto grinned his toothy grin and said, Kasumi-chan, you are a nice lady. Kasumi giggled at his antics. Oh, I am a nice lady. Well, I know that, she said with a smile. So like that their chit-chat started and went on for hours. He told her almost everything good that happened with him. He told her how he met with Hokage and how sometimes Hokage offered him ramen. And how he will be a Hokage someday. But the most he talked about was Anko. How he met her and how she helped him. How they used to live together. And how much they loved each other. It wasn't like he doesn't love her now, but he was mad at her very much for leaving him. But when the end of Anko's history came, he became sad. And Kasumi understood that it's time to change topic or ask something else. Hey Naruto, who is this Anko person you are talking about so much? She asked him. Naruto's cheerful expression returned to his face. After all, he was talking about most precious person. Anko-chan was the most precious person to me. She was a very strong ninja of Konoha. Kasumi interrupted him. Hey Naruto, why are you regarding her like she was in past with you but not now? Kasumi said while she understood a little of the problem. As he heard her, his smile vanished from his face and his eyes started to water. After not getting any response, she turned her head towards him, and when she saw him crying, she stood up and went to him and enveloped him in a comforting embrace. Naruto stiffened a little from sudden action because it has been a long time someone embraced him lovingly. She felt him stiffen but tightened her hold more and said in a much soft and loving voice, Naruto, I am sorry, it's alright if you don't want to talk about her. Naruto relaxed and shook his head. No, I want to talk about her. He calmed down and his sobbing stopped after some minutes. She didn't let him go the whole time. Then Naruto continued, I want to tell you about her because you are the only person who treated me like this after her. She stayed silent and only listened. He told her everything about Anko. He told her his and Anko's complete daily routine. He told her she was the most precious person to him and how much he loved her. And in the end, he told her how she left him alone. Kasumi remained quiet the whole time, only nodded when needed. She understood their relationship. She understood how much they cared and loved each other. But why would she leave him if she loved him that much? She came out of her thoughts when she heard Naruto said something. Hey Kasumi-chan, do you think she started to hate me like villagers? Because I never said or done anything bad to make her hate me. Then why she too started to hate me, he voiced his pain to her. After listening the whole story, Kasumi felt her eyes sting a little. But after some moments she composed herself and said, Naruto, after all the things you told me about Anko, all things she did for you. I guess she loved you too much to ever hate you even a bit. She wouldn't have hated you even if you have said or done something to make her angry. She reassured him in a soft voice. Then why did she leave me? Hokage Gigi told me that she has gone for a very long and dangerous mission. But it has been 6 months from the time she left me. I think Gigi is not telling me the truth. But I understand if she hates me. But if not, then why didn't she tell me anything about her leaving? Naruto said desperately. Naruto became silent after his rant and started to think what did he said to Anko which made her hate him. Then he suddenly asked her, Hey, Kasumi-chan. Huh? She said in response. Does marrying someone is a bad thing? He asked her a little shyly. What? She said, not completely grasping the meaning of what he said. He said again, I mean to make girlfriend and then ask her to marry. Is it a bad thing? Naruto, why are you asking something like that so suddenly? She asked a little confused. Naruto blushed at her question and felt embarrassed. When Kasumi didn't get any response, she pondered a little on this silly question. But suddenly it clicked in her head and her eyes widened in realization. And then she smirked and a mischievous glint appeared in her eyes and teased him. Oh God, Naruto, I didn't know you were so eager to marry Anko. When Naruto heard her, he felt steam came out of his ears. But he composed a little and said, Wah, what are you talking about? He tried to evade. She broke out in laughter, and when she calmed herself she said, Naruto, you actually asked Anko to marry you. So what? I loved her very much and I didn't wanted her to leave me. So I asked her to marry me so that she will always be with me. Naruto's loud voice became a whisper in the end and he continued, but even after saying, yes, she left me, Naruto felt like crying again. This whole time they were in that hug and now she tightened it more. Kasumi then said, Naruto, marry to someone is not a bad thing. And I think every girl dreams to marry someone and to have a nice and loving family. But I can't say the same about shinobis. Because I am not a shinobi and I am a civilian. So I don't know how shinobi lives and think. Naruto listening her and said, you mean that she is a shinobi, that's why she can't marry me. Then why did she accept? If she is scared, then I will become a super strong ninja and I will protect Anko and you and my precious people, he said from sad to enthusiastically. She giggled on his antics and said, don't worry Naruto, I can say for sure that this wasn't the reason she left you, she said. Really? Naruto asked her, hoping that his marriage was safe. Yeah, she assured him. Before he could say anything more she said, now it's late and time to sleep. Hearing this, his heart dropped in his chest and his smile vanished. When she looked the expression on his face, she understood the situation and said, you can sleep here if you want. I have extra mattress, she said in hope to make him cheerful. Hearing her, Naruto felt the happiness he didn't feel for 6 months. He suddenly hugged her tightly and thanked her again and again. She smiled and ruffled his hair and said, you stay here and let me arrange the mattresses. He nodded cheerfully. After 20 or 30 minutes they were ready to sleep. Good night Naruto, she said. Naruto felt happiness swell up in him after hearing her. And replied, good night Kasumi-chan. And sleep took over both of them. And they both slept peacefully. After that day they both became good friends and you can say she became his precious person. She often offered Naruto food and talked for hours, and sometimes they both spend their whole day together in Kasumi's house. And on weekends Naruto and Kasumi played, ate and talked whole day. While he was happy on one side he was sad a little because of villagers' torment. But he was happy nonetheless. Because at that time he has his source of happiness in form of Kasumi. Time passed like this. It was already 1.5 years past. Naruto was now 10 years old and 4 feet 8 inches of height. His second year of academy was about to finish in 3 months. He was not as healthy as he was when he used to live with Anko. Kasumi provided him food, but she was not rich, she was just able to fill her stomach, and then she started to share that with Naruto. So it was not malnutrition, but it was like Kasumi could afford only that much to live. So he was skinny, bones could be seen. One morning he woke in his apartment and after finishing his daily morning routine he made his way to Kasumi's home. He was merrily going to her house. And when he reached there he saw a crowd of people there. The crowd consists of civilians, ninjas who were trying to keep the crowd under control. Naruto became a little worried. Why so many ninjas are here? What happened? Is Kasumi-chan alright? He thought. He ran inside the house in spite of being resisted by ninjas. When he entered the house he saw Hokage talking to some other person, who was holding a cane in his hand, only one eye was visible, his right side of face and body covered in white clothes. When Naruto's eyes met his, Naruto felt his tongue was cut off, no sound came from his mouth. That man's look intimidated him to high degrees. Hokage interrupted him and he regained his ability to speak. Naruto asked Hokage, Gigi, what happened here? Why so many ninjas are here and where's Kasumi-chan? She said she would make ramen for me in the morning. Hearing this from his grandson figure, Sandame Hokage couldn't speak anything because he knew all about Naruto and Kasumi's relation. After a minute Sarutobi regained his composure and just pointed towards a curtain hanging from the wall in the backyard of the house, which was hiding something from view. Naruto noticed that the curtain was not there yesterday. Naruto slowly moved towards the curtain taking the worst in consideration and hoping and praying to whoever God was there that wouldn't be like what he was thinking. But God has always stomped on his happiness. Naruto slowly grasped the edge of curtain and moved it to the side. What he saw made his eyes widened and his body froze. He felt the pain and sorrow came back full force which was being suppressed by Kasum's care for 2 years. There, lying on a mattress was Kasumi. A big hole could be seen in her stomach. 2 Matic nins, 1 male and 1 female were trying to save her from her inevitable death. When the 2 nins saw Naruto standing there, they both shook their head to him. And stood up and left one after other. Kasumi turned her head towards him, tears were flowing like river. She motioned her head for him to come near her. Naruto moved towards her. His legs felt numb, like jelly. Every second felt like hours. After a minute which felt like hours he was standing near her. And when he reached near her he fell down to his knees, no longer has strength to stand. Everyone was watching the scene unfolding before them from some foots of distance. Naruto took her hand in his and gave it a squeeze. Tears flowing like rivers staining his face. He lifted her hand and grasped it in his and brought it to his chest and broke out in fits of cry. Watching him cry his eyes out, Kasumi felt the pain in her heart increase. She didn't want to leave him alone, but it was not in her hands. She wasn't a ninja. What could she do when an unknown ninja broke into her house and stabbed her in the stomach? Naruto, she managed to say. I don't have much time, so listen to me carefully, she said slowly. He didn't say anything, just nodded. Naruto, every person in this world has to go one day. Kami sends souls here and after some time they return to Kami. It is every living being's destiny. It is the fate each person has to face when their time finishes in this world. So it's my time now, she choked on the blood in her mouth and coughed up some blood. And said again, Naruto, you are a very kind and strong soul. I know you are alone and there will be many hardships in your life ahead. Many people will try to stop you from becoming a capable ninja. But I want you to promise me that you will never give up. You will never give up on becoming a great Kage. I know you will achieve that goal someday. She coughed up more blood and continued. Do whatever you do with full determination and zeal and do things in a way that you never regret. I don't regret anything. The time I spent with you was happiest time of my life. I will never forget that even in afterlife. I will never forget you. Naruto, make some good friends. And despite all the bad things try to live a happy life, she coughed up some more blood. And again continued her last words, and most important thing in the life, learn to forgive. And, her breath became heavy in long strides. But she managed to say, and it's not necessary to be a strong and powerful ninja. Be a great ninja. Become the legend. Naruto couldn't say anything. He just kept listening and kept nodding. He was crying like never before. She coughed some more blood. And said again, Naruto, I guess it's time to go. Shinigami is here. I can see him. Naruto just squeezed her hand more tightly and shook his head while crying his eyes out and murmured, "No, no, no," in his crying fits and sobs showing his unacceptance to all that was happening. He lifted his head first time from the start and met her eyes. He just started to wail more. She watched him crying. It was so painful for her that no one could describe. She just managed to voice her last words. "It's okay to cry sometimes, Naru." With this she took her last breath. Naruto put his head on her chest and cried and cried and cried. Hokage seeing this came to Naruto's side and put a comforting hand on his shoulder and said, "She is gone, Naruto. It's better if we send her with smiles on our faces." Naruto didn't listen to him or acknowledged his presence. He was just crying from inside out. He kept crying for a while. The pain, anguish and loneliness all came to him like a hit by a mountain. Why, damn it, why everyone leaves me? He separates his body from hers and gazes at her face. She looked calm as sleeping, like she would wake up and ask him if he wanted to eat anything. Naruto then stared at the sky above him. The sky was devoid of anywhere out in the backyard. He was staring at sky like he was looking at someone. And then he snapped, forgot everything around him and yelled to the sky. Why, you took every one of my precious person away from me. First my mom and dad. You took them away from me and after suffering the torment so long, you send Anko-chan to me. And when I was happy and life was looking good for me, when I started to think that I am loved, you took Anko-chan away from me. Why? What I ever did to you, huh? Do you enjoy watching me suffer so much that when I start to cling to life, you just takes away the anchor from me? Why the hell? Damn it. Now everyone who was witnessing the whole scene watched him with curious gazes like he has gone crazy. Whom was he talking to or about? Was he talking to himself? All of them thought. Hokage, Danzo, Anbus and all clan heads, some Chunins like Iruka, Mizuki and some Junins like Kakashi, Asuma, Genma, Kurenai, Hayate and Yugao Anbu were all there watching whole scene. But nobody tried to do anything, nobody even thought to comfort him. Hokage had already tried to comfort him but he ignored him. Danzo was thinking to use this event as an opportunity to take the Kyuubi brat under him. Kakashi was confused what should he do. After all Naruto was his late sensei's son. But only was wasting time in thinking but doing nothing. And all the other just watching the scene like a movie is being played. Then they heard Naruto again saying something. And after you took Anko-chan away from me, you again make me suffer extreme lengths of hell. And then you send Kasumi-chan and when again my pain started to subside you just send that damn ninja and that bastard Shinigami. Why? You don't have time or you don't want to look at the world that how degraded the human have become, which you have created. Huh, Kami. Naruto finished with calling Kami in low tone. Abruptly, well nobody could see but when Shinigami was about to go, he heard someone calling him bastard. And Shinigami decided to hear more of the person or boy. He had already sent Kasumi's soul to its place. Naruto started again. Kami. He yelled to his lungs out to the skies. Kami. He yelled again. Why have you just made me your plaything? Huh, no, I am not your plaything. The truth is you can't do anything. You can just make people suffer and watch. You can't do shit about anything, he yelled to the heavens. Sometime I wonder why you have even taken the throne of the god. You can't do anything for a child then what can you do for all these people, jack shit. You know what? You don't deserve the throne of the god. You are just a useless bastard, nothing else. Everyone who was hearing him just stared at the boy wide eyes, their jaws on the floor. They were so stunned with Naruto's blunt words that a tinge of fear started to crawl their body. They were looking like statues and beads of sweat started to appear on their foreheads. Despite this they were thinking the same, like God has time for a little demon child. But they were all about to be proved wrong because Shinigami couldn't take it any more of insults for him and Kami. Suddenly the temperature dropped to several degrees and a chill of fear and cold crawled up everyone's spine. They started to shiver. Everybody started to feel panic on what was going on and what was going to happen. But while it was happening, Naruto was standing there defiantly, denying all the pressure of fear and coldness in the air. A large black and white purplish figure started to appear from nowhere. In seconds the figure fully appeared in front of everyone. Naruto heard Hokage gasp in shock and a little fear. Shinigami. Now hearing the Hokage, everyone who were witnessing the scene was feared to their deaths. They thought that stupid son of a bitch, demon angered Shinigami and now we will have to face the wrath of Shinigami. Then Shinigami spoke in a cold voice, you lowly human scum, you are blabbering your mouth like a stupid child. Do you not fear me, the Shinigami? It's my first time I have seen someone stupid like you in. Naruto cut him mid-sentence. Shinigami, hey, what, Kami couldn't come, huh? Was he busy in making someone else suffer in pain? But I can tell you this surely that it won't be your last time when you will see new things happening in this world. Before Shinigami was just playing and underestimating him for being a child, but now talking to him so rudely just make him furious. You mortal trash, you dared to talk to me in that rude tone. I can kill you right now. Naruto interrupted again. Kill me, is this the only thing you can do better? Huh, now hearing the boy again responding to him, Shinigami in so insulting way just made Shinigami snap. And he unsheathed his sword from its sheath and flew towards Naruto. Every person who was watching them gasped in shock. Their eyes widened, but some of them were happy to be getting freed from demon curse. But as Shinigami's blade was about to touch Naruto's neck, he suddenly stopped. And then someone spoke in a very sweet, calm and graced way. The voice calmed everyone's nerves. Shinigami. Shinigami the death god appeared slightly surprised. He stepped aside and looked behind himself waiting for the person who interrupted him and about to appear. A light was behind the death god. The light started to increase in size and shined so brightly that everybody covered their eyes. Everyone was astonished to their very core. The light died down and morphed in a woman. When the woman appeared fully, everyone's eyes widened by looking at the sheer beauty of the woman who, like Shinigami, appeared from nowhere. She was sitting on a throne. She had blonde hair which was lengthier than her height. She had pale skin wearing a white and golden kimono-like robe. The said female turned her head towards Shinigami and said as same as her earlier tone. Shinigami, how many times have I told you to not lose your cool like that? Then Shinigami retorted, and how many times have I said you to not meddle with my affairs? But, anyway, I couldn't stand being insulted and seeing my fellow god insulted, goddess of life. But before the goddess could say anything, Naruto interrupted their conversation. Who are you? He asked despite Shigami just revealing her identity. Goddess turned her head towards Naruto from death god. She examined him from head to toe and frowned. He wasn't looking any special. She replied, well, I am the goddess of life, creation and destruction of everything, and I control everything in this world. Then Naruto said sarcastically, oh, look who came to grace us with her presence. Boy, what is your problem? Why are you making a ruckus? Huh? She said in a scolding manner. Naruto angered a little and said, oh, is it me who is making a ruckus, or is it you who has made my life living hell of a ruckus? Boy, the events and incidents which has taken place and are taking place and will take place, are all a part of your fate. You have. She got interrupted by Naruto. Fate my foot. You are calling all this fate, just to give yourself a clean shit. My mom, my dad, Anko-chan and Kasumi-chan, were all a part of this so-called fate, which is just a sick game for you. The goddess seemed unfazed from Naruto's outburst. She replied calmly, boy, your parents' death was their fate. This girl's fate was this, she said, pointing her finger towards Kasumi's lifeless body, and the girl Anko is still alive. Those who died have limited lifespan, which when they completely lived I creates the whole situation to bring them back to spirit realm, and by doing this I help Shinigami. All souls are a part of Shinigami which with my help he sends here, she said, making her point. Fate. Fate. I have listened this bullshit enough. You have just given your games a name, fate, said Naruto. Still denying the whole series of events. The goddess responded again in her same calm tone. Fate is not just a name, it's a result of multiple series of events, which are already predetermined for every living being's life. Fate is inevitable. In the end everyone meets their fate. While the conversation was going on, the crowd of people just gawking at the scene because they were flabbergasted to voice anything. Everyone was awed at Naruto, who was facing Shinigami and goddess of creation without any fear, but even if he might have been feeling any nervousness then he wasn't showing it. Naruto was quiet for a minute. his bangs foreshadowing his eyes. Suddenly he spoke. Fate, do you know what your fate is? The goddess of creation, he finished sarcastically. Everyone widened their eyes at him for what he just said. Even Shinigami and Goddess became befuddled for a second on the question. Then she chuckled and answered, my fate. Boy, you are really showing that you are an utter idiot. I am the controller of everything, even fate, and you are asking me my fate. Naruto ignored her comment again, became silent for some seconds. Then said, Fate, do you know what my fate is? Kami put a finger under her chin and thought for a second and then smiled and said, well, superficially, it looks very clear, but if you go deep then it's much complicated. What do you mean? Naruto asked. He didn't understand the difficult words. Kami looked a bit irked by his slowness, then explained. What I mean is, you will need to work hard to achieve something than others because of your situation with the village. You will not be recognized easily if you even reach that point. You current life just a trailer of the future. You, Naruto cuts her off mid-sentence. Kami, what happens in the future? Well, you need to worry because I am going to change my fate. See again my fate, Kami, and see very carefully. Because I, Naruto Uzumaki, swear on my name, on my parents' name, on Kasumi's name, I will change my fate on every turn of my life. And if Shinigami comes for my soul, then I will escape from him every time, until I would want. I would make you feel the same hell I have suffered. Remember this. You won't get my soul easily, I promise you that, Naruto said defiantly. Hearing him, Kami broke out in laughter and said, you will do such things you just said, really, don't make me laugh, boy. But you are an amazing child, I can tell that surely. Okay, tell me how you have planned to do what you just said. Have you thought of anything before uttering such words, or are you just blabbering out? I don't think you have planned anything. Naruto just remained silent. He didn't know how he would do those things. He just blurted out those things. But he will do it at any cost. Naruto then said, I don't know how am I going to do this. But I will do this for whatever it takes. I will find out the way. Just you wait, he said while staring in Kami's eyes and with so much determination that even Kami and Shinigami felt something akin to uneasiness in themselves. The look in his eyes was of strong determination, which was screaming that he would do that. And I will make you leave your palace and throne and make you live on earth a simple life, then you will understand what a human life is. Then I will see what would you do without any power and all that, he said with the same determination. Now I, Naruto Uzumaki, challenge you that if you have it in yourself, then try to take my soul from me whenever my time comes, he declared. He made a thought pose for a moment, then said, well, why we don't make a deal? What kind of deal? Kami asked. If I succeed in escaping from Shinigami when my time comes, then you will do what I would ask of you, Naruto said, presenting his term. And what if you failed? Kami asked again. She was now very much interested in the blonde. So much interested that she made the decision to accept the deal because she was sure in herself that the boy won't be able to do that. Then I will happily do whatever you would say, and you can do whatever you want with my soul, said Naruto, finishing the dealing conditions. Kami pondered a little and said, well, not bad, I guess. But I would suggest you to think again, because if you lose I will cut your soul in 3 and eat it in my dinner, or maybe I will send it to hell for torture and punishment and ceremony and rituals for the sinners. Yummy, hell, God would be glad. So think once more, because you are going against a god. Naruto gulped in fear and nervousness from her words. But it was too late to back off. So he said, don't need to think again. I am ready. Kami sighed. Well, alright then, I, goddess of creation of all life, Kami, accepts your deal and its terms. She outstretched her hand and a scroll appeared on her palm. She handed it over to Naruto and said, this scroll is the proof of our deal, it's now official. You can't back off now. This scroll has my stamp. She handed him one more scroll and said, this is my copy. Put your signature on it. Bite your thumb and press it on the scroll. Naruto did as she said and handed the scroll back to her. Keep your copy safe. If someone else gets it, then it would cause problem for both of us. And if you lost or try to back off from the deal, then the result would be same. I will take your soul, she gave a warning with most intimidating face expression. Naruto gulped in fear again and trembled. This goddess was really scary. T-Hen. Deal accepted, they both said at the same time. Kami and Shinigami both vanished after that. Naruto then felt like all his strength drained, the rush of all the events caught up to him. He felt complete exhausted and fell face down to the ground unconscious. Everyone who was there were still in the daze. Hiruzen got out of his daze first and opened his mouth to say something, but the words just couldn't come out of his mouth. He then looked towards Naruto and ran to him. He checked Naruto's vitals, and when he made sure that Naruto was just unconsciousness, he heaved a sigh of relief and called the Anbus. Get him to the hospital. I will come later to check on him, Hiruzen said to the Anbus. Then he sensed someone behind him. He turned and found that the person was Danzo. We need to talk about what happened here. It's a matter of urgency, you know that, Danzo said, devoid of any emotion. Yeah, I know that, Hiruzen said. Then they both went for the meeting and ordered the Anbus to handle the crowd and send them home. They will know whatever decision council would take in the meeting through civilian council. And it's not necessary for civilians to know about shinobi matters. But it was Hiruzen who was a little loose and ignorant to the matters. All the Junins like Kakashi, Kurenai, Asuma, Genma, Yugao, Anbu, Hayate were all still in the state of confusion. They were pondering on what they should do now. Because it was sure that this incident will cause something that never happened before, and it would be a very big incident, would be known throughout the whole world, so a feeling of siding with Naruto arose in them. But would he be able to go against God of Death and Creation? And even if they side with Naruto, they were already on bad terms with him. And one more question was that, would it be the doom for the village, or would it take the village to unknown heights of prosperity? All was unknown to them, but it would be good if they try to be on good terms with him a little from now on. But it would be much hard for Genma, Kurenai and Kakashi. Genma for obvious reasons, and Kurenai because even after calling herself best friend of Anko, she didn't even look out once for the only person Anko cared about. And Kakashi, well, Naruto didn't know about him, but he was sure that when Naruto will come to know that Kakashi was his father's student and his father asked him to look out for Naruto, he will be the person Naruto will hate most. He didn't even try to meet him till now. So thinking along these lines, they went to their own devices. Unknown place. Kami, you underestimated the boy, Shinigami said to Kami. Kami turned towards him and said, what do you mean, Shinigami? Do you really think that he will be able to win? You are insulting me if you are thinking that. Shinigami sighed. Don't come to me crying for help if he becomes able to do what he said earlier, because I know as well as you know that there is a way to do what he said, Shinigami said. Kami sighed. She knew Shinigami was overestimating the boy. There was no way he would be able to reach that level in this life. She was the mighty god, what could come in her way? Oh, come on, Shinigami, do you really think that he will be able to reach that level so soon? He will die before reaching that level, if he ever even comes to know about it. Because I don't think there is anyone alive who knows that method, God of Creation assured him. I don't know, but anything is possible in this world, you know that, don't you? Shinigami warned again. I know, but to do the impossible, do you really think that that boy has it in himself to do the impossible? And if someone succeeds in doing impossible, then he would be 1 in a million. And I don't think people like that exist now, Kami said to Shinigami. Well, whatever, just be careful, I wouldn't want my friend to be rot on the earth. You know how much I care about you, Shinigami teased Kami. Well, did you just insult me covered by the word friend? Nonetheless, I am glad you called me your friend. And now when you have called me your friend, then I think that you know what a friend's duty is to other friend, Kami smirked. Shinigami felt himself trapped in his own words. I remembered that I have to go somewhere to collect the souls, Shinigami said and vanished. Kami just chuckled on Shinigami's antics and vanished too. Hiruzen was sitting with his advisors Shimura Danzo, Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane in the meeting room with all main clan heads. A serious expression was on their faces. You all know why this meeting has stalled, Hiruzen said seriously. They chorused in, yes, Hokage-sama. As you all know that this is a biggest incident. And in Konoha's history incident like this never happened before. So I would like to know what you all have to say about this incident, Hiruzen said to every one of the occupants. That brat has challenged the god, and it's possible that because of his idiocy, all of us, Konoha would have to pay, said Hiashi, the clan head of Hyuga clan. I agree with Hiyashi in this. I don't think that the boy would be able to win against God, and that could result in angering the god, and an angry god isn't good for the village, said Inoichi, clan head of Yamanaka clan. But why would God be angry with the village because of one boy, said Akimichi Shuza, clan head of Akimichi clan. I too agree with Akimichi and Hyuga heads. If the boy fails, then we don't know what would happen. And because he is from Konoha, the god might get angry with the village. So it would be good for us if we help him train so that he would be able to search and find the way to escape from Shinigami. So I would suggest and would like to volunteer to train the boy, suggested Danzo, clan head of Shimura clan and head of civilian council. Request denied. And you know why. I am inclined to make him stronger who could serve Konoha but not an emotionless weapon, said Hiruzen in a calm voice. What's the difference between yours and mine proposition? Only emotions, and emotions make a shinobi weak, Danzo replied, a little angry on getting his request denied. Whatever you say, but Naruto would not be trained under you or by your methods. And it's final. I want him to progress as any other child, Hiruzen said. It's the question of village's safety, Danzo tried to argue. We have many capable ninjas to defend the village. Naruto is a backup for now until he is a capable shinobi of Konoha, Hiruzen saved his side of argument. Danzo didn't say anything after that, and his grip tightened on the stick in his hand in fury, but his face was neutral from outside, but he was fuming on inside. I am still unable to understand why you are all making your own stories of what would happen if Gaki fails. She said that she would take Naruto's soul. Were you all deaf while she was saying that? Said Sume Inuzuka, clan head of Inuzuka clan. Fucking geezers, she muttered under her breath. We all know what she said. But still, it would be better if we keep an eye on him, Hiyashi said, getting a little angrier on being called old. Hiruzen, it's sure that something going to happen, and it would be better for us to not let the situation get out of control. It would be good if we keep tabs on the Jinchuriki, said Kohao, advisor of the Hokage. Yeah, keep tabs on the boy, control the situation. What a crap of load, all of you just want to control the boy just for your own uses, you power-hungry ba, Sume ranted, but before she could finish, Hiyashi cut her off mid-sentence. Sume, mind your language, and we aren't power-hungry, Hiyashi sneered. Oh, cut the crap, Hiyashi. I know very well how your main house treats the members of other branch house members, and let's not go far, I know how you treat your own child Hinata. Why? Just because she is shy, a little weak. But those can be fixed with training. But what did you do? Throw her aside for your younger child just because she is a little better and strong than Hinata? Now tell me, if this is not power hungriness, then what is it? Sume ranted in one breath. Hiyashi got enraged with every word she was saying. He couldn't stop himself anymore. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You don't have any right to say anything about my clan and my daughters. And we are this much powerful because of this system we have, which is coming along from before a very long time. So shut the fuck up, Hiyashi yelled to her face, his face red from the anger. Sume looked unfazed from Hiyashi's angry outburst. Then she said again,